disintegrated. Luckily, nobody was in it. Next slide. Earthquakes. We don't have any before and afters. If we did, they'd probably look like they did before anyway. Next slide. Obviously, California being next door to us is actually our biggest market right now. And this is typical of a wood structure. These are all taken in California. They do fairly well. They wobble and shake. You're going to have to do a bunch of repairs. If it's really bad, it's devastated completely. But compared to masonry, obviously fracture's easier. When it comes down, it's heavy. And more than likely, you're going to get really badly hurt. Next slide, please. So this is a Carl's Jr. we've built in Oxnard, California, high fault zone. We've got special bracing that we add when we know it's in a seismic area. We will easily survive an earthquake when it happens. Next slide, please. This is Panda Express. Shortly after it was built, a car slammed into it. The guy was taken to the hospital. The restaurant stayed open. We had no damage. The stone facings that were bonded to our foam wall panels with our own stucco max, they broke off. So all we had to do was go back and stick them back on again.
So that's not a drive-through then?
It's not a drive. It was a drive. Yeah, very good. It was a drive-into, not a drive-through. Next slide, please. This is a house up in the Bay Area, definitely in a high seismic zone. This is a 3-story house that climbs a hill. All the stone facings here, just like the one on Panda Express before this, are all bonded to the foam with this crystalline process that I talked about earlier. This house actually won some awards a few years ago. Next slide, please. This is a very nice house, very large house. It's the first biggest one we did in Beverly Hills. So we're not limited to Little Caribbean or Haiti houses. We can do the same components. It's actually a funny story. This went in about the same time as shortly after the Haiti house. And the word around the factory was the components don't know if they go to Haiti or Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. This is interiors of the same house and the upper level of the same house. Let's click through the next few. Okay, BallistiCrete, now we get to the fun stuff. The goal here initially was, I was looking for hurricane resistance, I was looking for impact and abuse resistance, and then I realized if I made it thicker, I couldn't even smash it with a hammer, so I didn't have any guns at the time, now I do. And I got some neighbors to come over with guns and we blasted it with handguns and AK-47s, and we realized the thicker we made it, the bigger bullet we could stop. So we're going